To feed a person on an all plant-based vegan diet for a year requires just 1/6 of an acre of land. To feed that same person on a vegetarian diet that includes eggs and dairy requires 3 times as much land. To feed an average U.S. citizen's high-consumption diet of meat, dairy, and eggs requires 18 times as much land. This is because you can produce 37,000 pounds of vegetables on 1.5 acres, but only 375 pounds of meat on that same plot of land.
But the demand on dairy-based protein in the world is only going to increase. And there's not enough land on the planet to do this type of dairying around the world. It's just the environment is not going to be that way. The land's not there.
So I guess on a global scale, the conclusion would be dairy is not sustainable.
Unless we start digging up houses and putting pastures back. And the only way to start digging up houses in development is to have less people. But we only know that the population is going to continue to grow. So that means more commercial dairying, I'm sure.
We would have to convert all mountain ranges to grassland, clear ancient forests and national parks to grazing, and demolish every city just to make room to graze cows. Just like Brazil, the United States isn't suited to meet the demands for meat. In 1812, there were 1 billion people on the planet. In 1912, there were 1.5 billion. Then, just 100 years later, our population exploded to 7 billion humans. This number is rightly given a great deal of attention, but an even more important figure when determining world population is the world's 70 billion farm animals humans raise. The human population drinks 5.2 billion gallons of water every day and eats 21 billion pounds of food. But just the world's 1.5 billion cows alone drink 45 billion gallons of water every day and eat 135 billion pounds of food. This isn't so much a human population issue, it's a human eating animals population issue.
Then choosing to stop consuming animals and live a vegan lifestyle.
If we all, as a society, did go vegan, and we moved away from eating animal foods and toward a plant-based diet, well, what would happen? If we didn't kill all these cows and eat them, then we wouldn't have to breed all these cows, because we're breeding cows and chickens and pigs and fishes. We're breeding them, over and over again, relentlessly. So if we didn't breed them, then we wouldn't have to feed them. If we didn't have to feed them, then we wouldn't have to devote all this land to growing grains and legumes and so forth to feed to them.
United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, roughly 3/4 of all the fisheries out there are either fully exploited or overexploited. So there's really not a whole lot of fish stocks out there that you might consider at healthy levels for the ecosystem.
Fishing of any type is depleting not only the species, but you get into this serial depletion where one fish species will be minimized and the fishing industry for that fishery will move on to the next species. And it's called serial depletion, aptly named. And in the process, so the fish are being lost, not only the species is being lost, but the next in line is being lost, and then the mechanism is still extremely destructive. So they're losing the fish species, but it needs to be kept in mind they're also destroying habitat.
I think they came up with this term, sustainable fishing, to make ourselves feel good about eating fish and continuing to take fish out of the oceans, when in fact really it's Sea Shepherd's position that there is no such thing as sustainable fishing.
Seafood is not a protein source for a sustainable protein source for the feeding of the planet, of the people on the planet. It's just not.
People don't want to hear it because that makes them feel like they have to take action. They have to stop doing something, and a lot of people don't want to, and people don't want to. They don't want to put it out there because it's uncomfortable.